This great introduction. I'm also very happy to hear that we have a lot of people on this webinar. And hello again to everybody. Today, I'll demonstrate you, and present you our higher functionality in Milturn. And basically, as you probably, some of you already download our presentation on our official website. Today I will not talk about all functionality what we have added in milling or to turning inside operations, or some of the features that we have in the transform options and so on. But today I'll make a main focus on what's new features and improvements that we have added in our Milturn module. Okay. So therefore today I'll talk more about the improvements what we have added in machine setup. Our great new feature is machine preview, how to use it, how it can be, I think it's the great advantage and great improvement what we have added. Now also I'll talk more about what's new in MCOs, some of the new parameters. And at the very end, for high-end users and the experts in Milturn module that actually knows a lot about the multi-channel machine, I will talk about our new synchronization manager. Okay, so let's just get started. I'll start with basically with machine setup. And on the very right, I have put the two pictures here. It's basically what we have in SolidCAM 2016 and how it was in SolidCAM 2015. And basically, I'll start explaining, from left to right. And the very first thing what you can see here is that now we delete, the submachine row, because now our home positions is not anymore connected to our submachine, but actually to the table itself. And that seems logical, because if you, for example, if you have the Milturn machine that has main spindle, back spindle with the two turrets, it's very logical that you have, the coordinate system on the main spindle and you have the coordinate system on the back spindle. Now, also here, the new function that we have added, it's give you a possibility to work with single home definition or with the two or more MAC position as we supported till now. Now there is a difference, and this actually depends of the user itself or the post-processor writer. Okay, so I'll talk more about it a little bit later. The biggest change in the machine setup actually is about the new parameter stocking, and it actually represents when you put your actually the sock on the machine, where it's located. Now this is the main trigger and main parameter. Is it in the main spindle table or on the back spindle table? Okay. And here, over here, we have this pretty much standard coordinate offset, and here we have a very new icon, the machine preview. Okay. Now the machine preview, you'll see that now in every stage of programming with your CAM part. So it means that now any user cannot be lost. Okay, now we have this great feature that will be shown in the machine setup, in the tool table, in operation, and inside the machine control operation. Now I'll just jump to one of the projects that I have here and try to explain you all those features. Now what I have here is pretty much standard part. Okay, I didn't want to show you something very complex with a lot of operations. I just wanted to show you these main features and how to use it on very easy part, so you can understand this very well. And it's pretty much the standard, the part that have actually two sides. The right and left that needs to be machined on the right and the left, and here as well you can see the clamping positions and the jaws envelope on the main spindle as well and the back spindle. In this example, I also used I'll use the NTX 2000. Okay, it's the machine that actually consists of the main spindle and back spindle, and the lower turret and the upper turret with the B-axis. And just pay attention here, the lower turret has the 10 station, okay? Okay. Now, before I just continue to explain all those nice features in advance of this presentation, it will be very important to understand what kind of operation actually I did here. You'll see that later why it's important. So first of all, as is a standard, we have here, the face turning, then the outside diameter turning. As well, here we have something on the groove. Then few operations with the drilling, sensor drilling, and now here, of course, here we have the internal turning as well as a grooving, and doing something, this profile, doing these surfaces over here. And after that, we have the part transfer and doing the machining, pretty much the same thing. We have the face, we have the outside, we have finishing those surfaces over here, and some of the holes that are presented on the radial position and on the face position itself. Now, when you know how I machine this part, it will be much easier to understand, what I will do in the further of the previous presentation. So let's just start from the beginning. So I'll just double-click on the machine setup. And as I talked already, I'll just mention about our stock in. The stock in, it's a new trigger that defines where my part, actually where my stock is located, its initial position. Okay. And the second feature what I would like to show is the machine preview. If you click on the machine preview, here you will see a couple of the options on the top and a couple of the options on the bottom. On the top we have, pretty much the standard, the views. I really like it. And on the bottom we have the axis control. So we can move that, but I'll show you a little bit more about it later. Also, you can do a right click on this area. And there's a lot of options here, so you can play with it a little bit. But for now, I'll just show you the fit to box, and I'll just zoom into this particular area for the better view. Now, as you can see here, if I click on stock in the main spindle, you can clearly here see our main spindle, our jaws, our stock, and as well our mag position. So now the user never can, they cannot be lost. So they cannot make the mistake, because everything is very visual and very, how to say, user-friendly. Now what will happen, for example, if I here change it, for example, 120. So as you can see, it's very dynamic and very, very, very useful, so you can see it right here. So I'll just bring it back to the original value. As well, here, if I change, the stock in to the back spindle, here I can dynamically see that my part is on the back spindle. This parameter, it's very, very important for the MCO definition later on, and as well with the turret synchronization. I'll talk about this later also. Okay. Now I show you here the machine preview inside the machine setup. So now I will talk about the tool table. So I'll just double click on the tool table over here. And we have some of the new features over here, but I'll not talk about that. The main focus what I'll do is on our tool mounting over here. So if I click on that, the same machine preview will pop up, but besides of the machine here, the following thing you need to see it. The very first, what you can do here, and to see it, is that you have all the tools on the turret, for example, that I actually defined it in my tool table. And of course, it's not just about on the lower turret, as well we have on the upper turret. And pay attention, here I have my active tool number 1. Let's take a look, for example, and I would like to load tool number 4. So what I need to do is just simply clicking on a particular tool itself. So it's on the station number 4. Just click it, and the machine preview will automatically bring you, to this third position. So that's very nice. And besides of that, here we have some of the station position over here, and here we have the tool mounting position. It's clearly displayed here, and I'll talk now more about those tools. So the tools that we have here, it's pretty much the standard, but we just changed the icons. As you can see, this is on the tool mounting of the Z+. We can, on the Z-, and you can see how dynamic it is. Now on the X+, X-, and here we have about the mirroring. Now here we can focus the tool. We can turn off and hide the coordinate system. We can hide over here we have some text about the station, so we can hide that as well. We can show and hide all the tools and the holders itself that are on the turret. And as well, we have here the option to hide the STL of the machine. So that's pretty useful. And now I'll just talk about more about those axis control over here. Now it's just showing that you can move your devices in this machine preview dialog window. Now you can use pretty much the standard feature what we already have in previous versions, that scrolling with your mouse wheel will move your device with 1 millimeter. If you're holding the control key, it will move with the delta of 100. And as well, we have here a very nice feature. If you're holding the control and shift, it will bring it and shift it for 0.1. Of course, very nice feature if you move your device on and pass out of the limit, the whole device will become red. Okay, I'll bring it to the initial position. And as well, one of the, I'll say now, very important also tools that we have here, we have a pretty dynamic feature to define the tool tip position. As you can see, now if I change here the values, dynamically I can see as well, the mounting on in this environment. And that's very, very important. Also, if I for example, change here to the station number 3, I can just click it. Here it is. I can change some of the values. For example, here I would like to be, here I would like my outside of the holder to be, for example, on 55. If I do it, you can see that it's been changed. So I hope you will like it, and it's very, very now good and useful. Okay, so I'll just exit here. No, I don't want to save it. Now, on the very next thing, what I mentioned also in the presentation is that our machine preview is also available in the operations. So if I jump here on, for example, on any of the operation itself, so for example, I would like to do an outside turning on the back spindle. Here on the top right corner, we have also machine preview. But now, since we are on the sub machine, that is for the upper on the back spindle, you can see initial position of this. I'll just try to zoom in a little bit. You can see the machine position where it is before you actually starting to define this operation. So my part is on the back spindle. We can also load, and update the stock. So the SolidCAM will automatically, after I click it, he will update the stock so you can really see it. And I think it's very useful. But now you can see on the bottom that the axes which are white, but it's only available for the preview, as you can see it over here. It means actually, this is because it's active axis on specific submachine. Okay. So I cannot change some of other that are not in this particular submachine. So this is very kind of useful. So you can you can always see that, and before you even start doing something, you can check for the collisions, or something. Okay. Now, besides of the very last, I'll show you, it's the part transfer. In this particular example of the MC operation. And in this panel, this dialog window, here as well we have, the machine preview over here. I'll click it. And my goal in this operation is, to move my turret to the safe position on the bottom left. My turret is already in the B minus 90 degrees, and my goal is, to have the two motions that will bring my back spindle rapidly to some safety, and then going to the clamp position, catch the part, and move to the back spindle. I already predefined that, but what I would like to show you here, I'll just go to my movement, and here I will delete all the parameters that you can see it. Now I'll go to the front, and I'll just update the machine. So now this is the position that I would like, to define my catching the part position. Okay. So as you can see, as I click on this device, so we are in active back spindle device, only 2 axes is available to change it. So I'll show you a couple of the trick. If I move it with holding my control, I'll actually indexing for the 100. And I will move this axis to the 1400. So this is the safety position where my back spindle can actually go in rapid motion. And over here, we have very nice additional two icons that it's paste axis values and add axis values. Both are actually doing pretty much the same, except that paste axis values give you more flexibility. So if I click on particular move that I want to add and move my A axis to the minus 1400, I can click over here, and those values will be presented over here. That's very nice. And this is my rapid movements. Now, additional to that, I can delete this again. And now when my movement is not selected, I can come over here and I can add a new one. As you can see, the new is presented, but the selected one it's not changed, right? So that's very nice. And what I need to define over here now, it's just what is my clamping position. And if I zoom in over here, I can move it manually, and this is my clamping position. And again, I can use the option to paste the axis values. But let me show you one very nice feature. And I'll just move a little bit the MCO operation. And here I'll use, the CAM ZX view, sorry. And over here, as well as in previous versions, you can actually see the position of your back spindle jobs. Now, I want my clamp position. So what I can do, I can basically, go and click over here, and pretty much we have the standard, cell editor where I can, move my back spindle over here, and I can manually bring it to the clamp position. So I'll not do that, but instead of that, here we have, it's my favorite from the MCO, we have the setup location. So SolidCAM will automatically take into account our VMID and machine setup to automatically define the clamping position and the A-axis position. So if I go there, the back spindle is in the clamp position. And as well, we would not like to do this with the rapid, but I'll just put the feed of 500. So I hope you like this, and you'll find the machine preview very, very useful. I'll say this is brand new, and if you have any idea for the improvement, just let us know, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, I'll save here and exit. I'll just bring back to my presentation. Okay, Now, the next topic, what will be, it's what are the main changes, what we have added in, what we have did in MCO, and some of the new parameters, what we add. So on the right side of, I've put here the picture. It's the MCO from SolidCAM 2015, and it pretty much looks the same like in 2016, except that now, as you can see here, I just mark it that our main spindle chuck and the back spindle chuck devices, let's say so, are now deleted. So as you can see on the left side, on the left picture, there is no such a device over here, but those devices are, I would say, embedded or moved to the back spindle or main spindle. Actually, I will say more about in particular table device. Okay, so this is the main change in their, I will say, in the interface. But the new parameters, what we have added, it's close on stock and release stock. And you can locate it on the clamp, close on stock and release stock. Now, probably, and you remember that I've talked in the beginning about machine setup and where the stock is located. This allows us to understand where it's our stock and the part in any point of our programming of the CAM part. Okay, so close on stock will basically change the stock holding table. What that means? It means if we have on our initial position, if it was in the main spindle, if I use my back spindle clamp and I want to close on stock, it means that my part is not anymore connected to the main spindle. Now it's connected to the back spindle. So whatever you do, moving the back spindle, the part will track, or it will follow the back spindle device now. Now, there is two ways how we can, change the stock holding table. It can be defined through the table device, as I mentioned it here with the back spindle, or it can be defined in like a CNC operator. It's actually with the manual stock transfer. This is very logical. There is a lot of customers that actually don't use the part transfer with the back spindle, or they don't have such an options. So basically here we need to define that this transfer actually has been done by the CNC operator with the manual stock transfer. So this is very important. And the second operation is, the parameter is the release stock. The release stock will basically delete the stock from the table where it's located at that time. It's usually it's used, when the machining is complete, and I will later on show you why this parameter is very, very important if we want to have continuous machining on the Miltern multi-channel machine. Okay, so let me show you all those features. Okay, so again, I'll just go back to my part transfer. And what I have here, I'll just double click on my back spindle, and here I have the clamp. So, and here it's the mentioned parameters about close on stock and release stock. Now after this trigger, or after this parameter, SolidCAM calculates and it thinks that now our part is on the back spindle from now on. So that means if I use our CNC operator over here I have manual stock transfer. The SolidCAM will understand that, of course, now you have, because you have two table, or I'll say main spindle and back spindle, you cannot transfer the part on the back spindle again, but only on the main spindle. So what will happen now? Let me do some experiment. If I move my CNC operator just before my back spindle stock transfer, now my manual stock transfer will be only allowed to do on the back spindle. So it's very useful. So it's the logic it's put inside of the MCO part transfer. I'll delete this. And just now information for all parts loaded from the previous versions of the SolidCAM. If for some reason your CAM part was not defined with MCU, and after for example, this grooving operation, I have another operation that is on the back spindle using another MAC position, SolidCAM will automatically generate the MCO that will include, the CNC operator with a manual part transfer, and this will be done automatically. Okay. Also, for the clamping, for the previous parts, whoever use the close, it will be automatically converted to the close on stock. Okay. Okay. I'll just go back to my presentation. And now I'll say the biggest improvement and change what we have added in SolidCAM 2016 is our channel synchronization manager. Now, the terminology that I will use is pretty much the same as we have it in the past. So for whoever who never saw multi-channel machine, this topic will be a little bit sensitive because really it's not that hard, but just I will use some of the terminology that it's only for the users, okay, who actually understand what is the label, what is the synchronization between two operations. But of course, I'll try to explain you in very detail how to use, also for any user over here. So what you can see, what is basically channel synchronization? So it's the tool that actually allows a user to synchronize operations in multi-channel machines. Okay, and what is the goal of using the channel synchronization? Of course, it's the optimal cutting results with minimum cycle time per part. So what that means? It means if I have two-channel machine, like we have it in this example, doing the part with on the main spindle and then transfer it to the back spindle actually can be done like you have the two parts, one is on the main spindle, one is on the back spindle, that it's half done, and you have continuous machining. Okay, in this way you are getting minimum cycle time per part. Now this is the tool that you can use in SolidCAM, and I can tell you that we put a lot of efforts to put logic inside the TART synchronization, or I'll say synchronization manager from now on. Okay, on the very right, you can see the interface that is in SolidCAM 2015. Looks pretty much the same in 2016, but with the main adjustment that I'll just talk right now. So the first about the interface. I'll not spend now time to explain you all of those in the presentation, but I'll just immediately jump to the CAM part itself, and here I'll start to explain. Beside of the TART synchronization dialog window, we also changed the position where it's located. So from now on, in 2016, the TART synchronization is not anymore available in the CAM part icon. So here you cannot find it. And as well, you cannot find it inside the operation. The reason why is that it's because the TART synchronization you can only use in particular machine setup. So there is no, physical logic that you can do it in the multiple setups. Okay. So the TART synchronization is very located down below in the particular machine setup, or you can also go to the SolidCAM operation tab, and here you can find it as well. So I'll click on that, and here it is how it looks like. Now I will start step by step so everybody can understand each change what we add and how actually it works. And I'll show you a couple of the examples, so everybody will to everybody understand it. So I'll start from those icons over here. The very first three is pretty much the standard what we already have in 2015, and it basically allows us to make a synchronization between two operations like start to start, start to end, and end to end. And the fourth icon will delete all the previous synchronization job, and he will make and synchronize all operations as is defined in CAM tree. Okay, so as I do that, everything will be as I put the logic of definition of the CAM part. Over here I have the option to delete the synchronization label. This is the labels. I'll talk a little bit more later about that. Here we can delete all synchronization label, and here we can delete all turret synchronization job that was done. Here we have two icons. It's just the operation ratio. So for every operation, it's allowed, to change its duration. So here you can change it manually. And here we have the rest of the button, but it's totally the same as this button as well. Also, what we have here, we have the time frame view, and we have the uniform view. So it's basically, based now on the time, and this one it's based more on the operation itself. Here we have the operation clash view. I'll say the main tool and indicator is the turret synchronization, possible to do it on the machine or not. I'll talk in most about this. And here we have something about the colors that you can see right here for the operations, and can be based on the turret, can be based on by table and by the workpiece, by the number of the workpiece. Each of the color can be changed in VMID, that I will talk a little bit more in the next webinar. And here we have pretty much the standard tools like undo and redo, save, simulate, G-code with the time, zoom options, and save and exit. Now, one parameter actually, or command I actually passed away. It's because I wanted to put very high attention on this, and it's add a new workpiece. It's add a new workpiece. It's a new feature that we have added for the continuous machining in the particular multi-channel machine. I'll show you how to use this option in the next couple of minutes. Now let's talk about the change that is actually inside the turret synchronization. So the main improvement that we have added, that now the labels, or I'll say the weight mark, it's now we have clear overview where it is with this nice icon. And by default, the very first one, the number, it's 1. So over here you can see what is the label itself. Okay, what is the label number? And the first one, it always distinguish how, it's always 1 to all the channels that is active at the moment. Besides of that, here on the top we have, the channel name. This is for the upper turret, this is for the lower turret. And also those change, and its submachines that it consists, it's inside the VMID and can be defined in VMID, that I'll also talk about that in the next webinar. Now the main change also what we have added here is the machine setup. We put the machine setup inside our turret synchronization, and I'll show you why we did that. Also, besides of that, here we have one of the change that in every operation we can actually see what axis it was used in this particular operation. That's very important and useful, and I will explain you that also. Whatever you see the font, it's bold, okay? It means this was used in this particular operation. The one that it's, like the gray and italic, it means this axis can be used in this channel, but it was not used in this particular channel. And on every label, we can see the same. Okay. Okay, so let's do some experiment. So as you can see, now I have some turret synchronization here done, but here I have the clash view. So if I go to my clash view, it shows me and mark me the operations that cannot be synchronized. And if I go to particular icon, he will the information, why it cannot be simulated, synchronized, it's presented, okay? And if I click on this particular operation, it will mark me why I cannot, why the user cannot synchronize those two operations. It's because here I have something that I'll talk later. So let me do you one turret synchronization. And before I do it, pay attention that on our simulation, it's gray. So whenever you see the gray icon over here, it means this cannot be simulated. Either it cannot generate the G-code. So if I try to click here, it's not allowing me to generate the G-code. So preventing user to generate the G-code and go to the machine itself. So I'll delete all. And I'll synchronize all operations in the CAM manager order. As I do that, you'll see that my clash view it's active, and I don't have any error messages over here. And now I'm able to actually generate the G-code and go to my simulation. So let's see what we have here. So I'll just jump to machine simulation. Okay, as you can see, our stock is on correct place because we set in our particular machine setup that is on the main spindle. As well, it's the holders, you can see it. Also, you'll be able to see the tool on the upper turret. Now, let me show you one thing. Before I just started, I'll just go to my simulation, and here I'll just uncheck the stop operation change. I'll go to my simulation and I will slow it a little bit down. So the very first operation, what I have here, is to have a face turning with my lower turret, and then outside turning with my upper turret. But those two operations is not synchronized. It's not starting together. Okay, so I'll just run it. As you can see it, we have the face turning. After that, we have the outside turning as well. Here we have I'll have the rest of the operation. I'll just speed up. So completely done operation on the main spindle. Then we will have moving the turret to our safety. Then moving our C-axis to 0, clamping the part, and completely finishing the part on a back spindle. Now, this is very basic turret synchronization that was done in the order of the CAM tree. But what if I, for some reason, want to use I want to synchronize those two operations. So it's very logical that I can do it. There will be no collision. I can do the face turning and external turning in the one time. So to start it together. So now in this webinar, I will show you how to do it using the new turret manager. Okay, it's a synchronization manager. So I'll exit here, and I'll go to a particular setup. Channel synchronization. Okay, so as you can see here, this is my face turning with my lower turret, and this is my external turning with my upper turret. So I want those two operations, holding Control key, I want to start together. But the two operations can be only synchronized between the weight marks. So SolidCAM doesn't allow, and it's not physically possible to do it, on the machine if the label is between. So all the operations that are between two labels can be synchronized. So I just want to show you, that really here the synchronization manager, the logic, it's put it inside. So if I try to hit the start to start, I'll get error message, impossible to synchronize selected items. So what I have to do here, I'll just click on this particular weight mark or the label, and I will delete it. Okay, as I do that, a couple of things also happen. Now, if you remember, I showed you the simulation with upper turret on and the lower turret on the main spindle. Now, there is two new terminology that I will use also in the future webinars, and that we have added. But the turret synchronization can, besides of synchronization between operation, there is something that we will call axis sharing and drive unit sharing. Okay, the axis sharing is the sharing of the axis between the channels. I'll show you how to define it we might do in the next webinar. And the next thing is sharing the drive unit. Now, what drive unit in this particular example actually mean? The drive unit in this example is the main spindle. So it means, okay, you want to start two operations of the turning on the same spindle. It means those two turrets actually sharing the same drive unit. Of course, if we want to both operations start at the same time, we need to do the following. We need to understand that one of those channels can actually control this spindle, and it means that both turrets and both operations need to have same spin direction, same RPMs, and RPM, same direction. I think those two, okay. When we have a drive unit sharing, this icon will be presented. This icon means, okay, it's controlled by the lower turret, and it has the drive unit share in this operation. Now here I have something that if I click it, something is wrong here. Of course, if we think more about it, this operation cannot be end after all of those, because those two I just want to synchronize, so I want to end it together. And as well, I would like to move my upper turret, I think in this way. Yes. So first, doing those two operations simultaneously, we have the drive unit share, and now I can simulate here. As you can see, indication that now I can simulate and generate a G-code. Now, if the machine is not capable to run and to control the spindle with the lower turret in this example, or you would like to control the turret with the upper turret, you can just go to a particular label, and just remember this. Only on the label level you can share the axis, share the drive unit, and to do it, you need to do right click and make drive unit control to the upper turret channel. And basically it will move it over here. Okay, so for now, I'll just save it and simulate it. And let's see what we have done. Okay. Again, I will turn off the stop on operation change. Go to the front view. I'll go to my low list and start it. As you can see, both operations started. They have the same spin. They have same direction, same RPMs. Okay. So as I move it, you can clearly see that the phase turning has already been done, and then we have external turning. And this is the very simple way how you can do a turret synchronization together. Okay. Now, before I just close this, I would like to remind you and to show you one more thing. What if for some reason and not for some reason, but if you want to get a minimum cycle time per part, you would like to have the same part that was done here, move it to the back spindle, and to have two parts at the same time where you will have the machining on the main spindle and machining on the back spindle at the same time. How to do that, I will show you in the next couple of the minutes. Now, just one more thing before I go there. Here I have drive unit over here. But what will happen if I go to particular operation, go to my tool and my data, and here I have the cutting speed, and I'll just change here to 110, for example. And one of my favorite is save also the old operation that is related to this one. And if I now go back again to my channel synchronization, and I go to my clash view, I can see, and it's clearly marked, that something is wrong with this synchronization. If I click it, it will mark it, and I can go there, and it will clearly explain me that it requires same spin value on this same drive unit. And that's very nice. Now you can go back to a particular operation, change the value, and everything will work as it was. And now I'll just move to how to do actually the two parts of the same machine at the same time, and I'll talk now more about the new feature, add a new workpiece. Okay, so the first thing what you can notice that the new workpiece is not available when I click on any of the operation. That's why the SolidCAM don't know where the machining process actually ends. And maybe you remember when I explained about MCO, and we have the close and stock, and we have the release stock. So the release stock is a trigger where we explain, okay, this is the complete. This is the point where my part is completely machined, and I would like to remove it from active table. So I'll just have an exit over here, and on the very bottom I already create release stock, but I suppress this operation. So what I will do here, I'll just go right click and unsuppress it. I'll double click on it, and I'll click on the clamp. As you can see, I don't have anything so special. I just have here release stock trigger. Now as I have here, I'll do the following thing also. Because I have a lot of operations, I don't want to confuse you. So I'll just suppress all the operations that it's not so important in this example. So I'll just suppress also all of those, and I will leave basically the operations that are necessary. So it's like, the face turning, outside turning on the first side, or I will stay on the right side, and the same machining on the left side. So this is the minimum what we need, in this particular example. So I'll go again to my channel synchronization, and now I have a very small amount of operations, so this will be easy to explain it. Okay, so first of all, I'll delete all. Maybe I can use all synchronization, in the CAM manager order. And what I have here, it's my setup. Then I have my face turning, and besides of this, I just create here another operation that I'll just unsuppress it in this example, and I'll suppress this one. So what I actually here, what I did here, I trying to do the following. I want to finish the part with my lower turret on the main spindle, and complete the part, with my upper turret on the back spindle. Okay, so for easier, for easier example. Okay. I'll delete all. I'll go to the synchronize all operations as in a CAM manager order, and here it is. So this is very clear. We have two operations on our lower turret. Then we are moving to our safety, and this is not important. So because I don't have my upper turret, so I'll suppress that as well. So sorry about that. Okay, and now this is very easy to understand. We have the setup, we have two operations, then we have the part transfer, and then again we have two operations where I will move my upper to the safety, and then we have the release stock, right? Okay. Now, as you can see here, as I'm clicking on any of the operation, here my icon is now available. So the release stock is the minimum what you need to have if you want to have a new workpiece. Besides of the release stock, it should be close on stock, or I will say the part transfer to tool table, because if you don't have the tool table, this option will still not be available. And now the setup, besides of the machine setup to say where it's my stock, it also means in the target synchronization, it means load stock. Okay, just remember that. Okay, so where I want to add my new workpiece. The workpiece actually means where machining of the new workpiece actually starts. It's this particular example. It starts from this operation. Why? Because this is the very first operation of on the back spindle. So I'll click on that, and before I click it on this icon, I want you to understand that all the operations that are here will be moved to the top, and all of those will be moved regarding to, as you can see it over here. So the logic it's inside. So I'll click it, and now all operations are reordered. But pay attention, it's not the SolidCAM turret manager will not reorder all operation, and it will not allow you to change the machining process. So that means I cannot move my operation to be done after the external turning on the back spindle. So it will still follow the CAM order, but it will allow you to easily manage what will be machined first in order to have continuous process. Okay. After you click on this icon, the next step is where my stock will be loaded, and this you have to do it manually. But in most of the cases, your setup, as I said a few minutes ago, it's load me stock. So I have to move it. It's just using the drag and drop, as you can see it over here. I'm just using it, and I'll just put it on this particular label, and it will mean that he will move it one place after it. Okay, and now what we need to do, I want those two operations start together. And as I already mentioned before, it cannot be done because here I have some weight marks. So in this particular example, I will delete it. So the next step, I'll click on this operation, and I would like to start together. Okay, here I have also some of the operations, and now one of the tricky part. You need to understand that before I move my back spindle to my main spindle, I need to release my stock, because otherwise I will have a collision, right? So my part transfer and my release stock should be defined in this way. So we'll have together, we'll start with with main spindle and back spindle. Then I will move my to the safety. We will release the stock, and then we will have the part transfer. If we make any mistake, you can go to Clash View, and as you can see, there is no red icon. Nothing has to be done yet, and also the good indicator is that we can now simulate it. I'll just save it, and I'll simulate it. And don't worry, that the very first part that you will define with the new turret synchronization, it will be, I will say, a little bit hard. But after one or two parts, defining the turret synchronization, everything will be done very, very easily. I'm not expecting to everybody understand, especially for those who first time heard about multi-channel machines. Okay, I'll go to my front view, and as you can see here, I have my part on my main spindle, and I have here the part on the back spindle over here. And as you can see, the both operations and machining on the main spindle and the back spindle will start together. So I'll just go to my simulation, I will stop operation change, and I will run it. So this is the very simple way how you can do it. Of course, I saw that my second operation is not correctly calculated. So this is the way how you can do it. Now I'll just go back to my channel synchronization over here, and because the channel synchronization doesn't have any automatic definition of to get like minimal cycle time, the user is actually the one who will create this order, okay? Who will actually say, okay, this is the way how my part needs to be machined. So there is no software that can do this automatically. The software what it can do is to calculate minimum cycle time, but for the user, sometimes the minimal cycle time is not good. So also the optimal cutting conditions is also very important. So therefore, here we create some of the diagram that you need to follow in order, to do correct channel synchronization. It's basically, you need to first, as I already did this before, you need to actually complete all operation process in the CAM tree, and then to activate your channel synchronization. After you do that, you need to define your technology process. So it's not machining process, but it's technology process. Actually, how I will cut this part, how many workpieces I will have, where I will, do that, when I will move the part, and all of those things. And what you need to do in the channel synchronization on the very first, what I also did, is I add a new workpiece. And the second step, what I use drag and drop option and operation, and adding and deleting the labels to get optimal cycle time, right? So this is the thing that you'll now see on this presentation. After that, I click on the clash icon to see, do we have some axis sharing? Is our drive unit shared? Do we have somewhere the different spins and different direction? So if particular channel synchronization is not well defined, SolidCAM will not allow you to generate the G-code. So this doesn't mean that you will get a crash on the machine. It will simply happen that machine will stop because it cannot, synchronize things together. Okay. And then the very fourth and the last step is to simulate in machine simulation, as I did it over here. And if something is wrong, you should follow and return to the previous steps to optimize for the better results. So for now, we don't have any tool that will do this synchronization automatically. Okay. And on the very last thing, what I would like to show you, it's another example, but now how to use our synchronization manager in our milling module. Okay. So in 2016, we enable the user to actually use multi-fixture clamping position within one machine setup. So what that actually means, it means that now the user that only have, for example, 3-axis machine, he can use our synchronization manager and he can reduce the cycle time dramatically. Okay, it will reduce, changing, by optimizing the operations and optimizing the tool change. And the full simulation, the cutting process, it's inside machine simulation. So let me just show you what I mean about that. Here, as you can see, we have only, of course, one a channel over here, and you can use it in this way. So besides of the operations, here you see also the tool that it's used in this particular operation. Now, this information actually comes from the SolidCAM settings. So if you go to the channel synchronization, there, besides of the tool, you can also put the tool station and a lot of different informations also to be presented here. For now, in this demonstration, I will not talk about that. For me, in this example, it was only important what tool I'm using, to synchronize this. And here we have, like, the green, it's my first part. The blue, it's my second part. And I'm synchronizing in that way to have, synchronization order to follow the same tool, as you can see it over here. So we have tool number 2, then it will move to the second part. Then we have tool number 3, it will go to the second part, and so on and so on. In this slide, actually, it's more visual, actually, what I wanted to show you and to explain you. Here we have totally the same part that has actually the 2 fixtures, and here we have tool number 2, and after we do finish the operation on the first part, the machine will load the G55 for the second part, and it will start to machine on the second part. So imagine how much cycle time we reduced with this tool. Okay, so I'll just jump into this project and show you how live you can do it. I'll just open, and here's the example. Okay, here it is. This is the part. This is pretty much the regular part that you have maybe seen from Sydney in the previous some of the webinars. And what I have here, I have one particular setup. Let me just jump over here and to show you, what we have. Here I have, my first fixture right over here, and here I have my second one. And this is my initial position of in the cam. So I have on my left vise over here, and here I have some of the operations. Sorry. After that, we have on the right vise, we have, finishing everything from the backspin. Sorry, not the backspindle, but on the right vise. Only thing what you need to do, I'll just double click on the setup, and you can see it over here. So I have my G54, it's on my left vise, and I have my G55, for example, on my right vise. 2 different fixtures, and I can just go to my machine preview, and here you can see it. So this is my stock in the initial position over here, and I can clearly see my mark. Okay. As you can see here, I have between those 2 vices, I have the CNC operator manually transfer the part that was done on the one side, remove the part from the second vise, and change, and put the stock on the first vise. So this is the procedure that I want to actually show you. On the very last, I have also the release target. Actually, this is the release stock. So let me show you how you can do it. I'll just jump to my setup and channel synchronization, and I will delete all. As you can see, this is all the operations what we have. We have the setup, we have machining the first side, then we have the part transfer, and we have finishing the second side, and then we have the release the target. Now I'll show you in this example, of course, we have the 2 parts. So we have the 2 workpieces. So machining of the second workpiece actually starts from this operation over here. So I'll just click it and click on this icon. As I do that, all my operation that was here, it's moved to upper. And what I did on the previous, I also move my setup. And over here, what I have here, it's the logic that I need to do it on the end. So of course, I want to finish everything on the first wise, I want to finish everything on the second wise, then I want to release the target first and manually change from left to right wise, right? And then again to have my load of the stock on the left wise. Okay. Now, one of the optimization that we can do here, we can follow the tool change over here. So on the second part, it starts from T2, and on the second part, or I will say on the first part, it's starting from the T1, and then later on we have 3 operation that it has the tool number 2. So what we can do, I'll use the click and shift those 4 operations, and I will drag and drop it before the setup. So first, what I want to do is my the pre-drilling, then I have the roughing on the first part, then I have the roughing on the second part, and then we have the tool change on number 3. So here we have active number 3. Tool, I will move it over here. So I'm trying, to make some synchronization regarding to the tool change. After that, we have again, the tool number 2, 4, and 5. This is the tools that is not over here, but at the end we have the tool number 6. So I'll just use all of those, drag and drop over here, and now this is the way actually how I want to machine my part. And at the end we have the tool number 6 at the end as well. So I'll just move it like this. If everything is correct, I can simulate this and I can generate a G-code. So I'll just save it and simulate and show you the very last thing what I wanted to say about turret synchronization. Of course, I'm expecting a lot of questions, and for each particular example, I can, of course, you can contact me personally, okay, and I can show you how to do it. Okay, as you can see over here, I have 2 vices, I have 2 parts. As you can see, the top face, it's already finished and displayed over here. So everything is very well updated. So now I'll just, stop on operation change. I will just stop on tool change. And maybe I'll increase a little bit the speed. As you can see over here, we have the drilling, pre-drilling for the iMachining. Then I have the roughing with our iMachining for the first part. And I'll just move it because this is very long operation over here. Also the second pocket, and here we have the finishing as well. So I'll just wait for verification of the toolpath. It will be done very fast. Then I have the finishing of the iMachining. And next operation, as you can see it, he read our G55 and he jumps to the first operation of the second part, as it's the iMachining or the fishtail that it's here, necessary to clean. And here it is. Very nice feature. So besides of the synchronization manager that can be used only in the mill turn, here it's one example, how you can use it at the customers that have, for example, only one milling module. And also for the end, I would like to say one more thing about the machine preview. The machine preview, it's available for all users. So it's not only for the users who have a machine simulation license. It's also available for everybody who even don't have it, but they will not be able for sure to open it inside a machine simulation. Okay, so it will help them, to successfully position, to define the machine setup, to check the operations, to define correctly NCOs, and so on.